Hello and welcome back for another pick a card reading. I'm Aruka Rose, and today we're going to be doing some full moon messages. We have a full moon this week on Friday, September 29th, 2023. I have 3 decks for you all to choose from today. We're going to be using several decks, including the Illuminator's Amulet, the Cosmos Oracle deck, the Universe Has Your Back deck, the Animal Spirit Oracle deck. Shine for us. Shine for us. Okay, it's not doing it. And the Rider-Waite Tarot. We have quite a fun mix of decks today. I will start off with an astrology segment, so if you'd like to listen to that while you choose your pile, that would be great. You have pile 1, pile 2, and pile 3, but if you would like to just go ahead and skip to your pile, go ahead and do that now. Alright, so for this Friday's full moon, we are looking at the moon in Aries, of course then the sun in Libra. It is Libra season now. Happy Mabon, happy fall, happy all of that. We get to move into a new season with new energy. I personally think Libra season is more enjoyable for my natal chart. So I'm very excited to move into Libra season and spooky season. I will be doing a small amount of shadow readings for those who are interested. I will put it up on my website as an option, so if anyone's interested in getting a shadow self reading, it is astrologically based, as well as some follow-up reading with some oracle cards and tarot cards. So if you are interested in learning about your astrological shadow side, go ahead and hit my link in the description, go to my website, and you'll be able to find shadow readings listed on the homepage there. So back to the chart. The full moon will be in Aries, along with Chiron in Aries, and the North Node in Aries. We've got ARIES as well, but when we look at the moon, the full moon being in the same sign as the nodes, we do kind of start thinking about eclipses. And this, we're not quite to eclipse season yet, so think about the next ones coming up as the real intense eclipses that you want to kind of get your energy right for or feel into, the way that you like to work with eclipses, however that works best for you. I fully encourage working with eclipses personally. This full moon, though, will have a lot to do with your healing journey, your motivation, your strategy in the way you want to work with something coming up. Like if you see on the chart, the sun is conjunct Pallas in Libra. Mars is also in Libra on the South Node. So it kind of just makes a lot of this weird push-pull feeling. Like, are we working too hard towards our goals? Are we not working hard enough towards our goals? Any kind of triggers that might come up through that process are going to come up. But it really feels like, especially with how much Chiron North Node interaction we've had for the last while and will continue to have, it really feels like we're all focused on our trauma and healing journey and how we can, I don't want to say push through, but work through more of that, make progress. We're going to be seeing a lot of progress and steps forward in that area of our lives. And if you look to your natal chart, I really recommend that for this reading. See what you have going on in Aries and in Libra personally for you, because it's going to change the way that this manifests in your life. It'll affect the parts of life that are dramatically affected by this full moon. I do think this is a pretty intense full moon, since we've got so much going on both sides of the chart for this full moon, both in Aries and in Libra. There is a pretty close conjunction as well to Neptune, which is retrograde in Pisces still. So I do think this might have similar effects as the last full moon we had in Pisces. It would have been a really peak time for anyone who has prophetic dreams or spiritual dreams, anything like a lucid dream, any kind of dream work coming up that came up last full moon might come up a bit again. There might be some residuals from that. I just think because of how close it is, but I really feel like it could also just start to reflect back in a more physical, fiery type way. It might be you acting on something from the dream, for instance, something like that. A lot of fire is about action, and we see that in a lot of the other placements on the chart for this full moon. We have a Grand Cross if you look to Vesta and Pholus in Cancer and Capricorn. These really bring in these themes of what are we devoted to in life, and are we working towards it? Are we embodying that and connecting with it emotionally enough, or not enough, too much or not enough. That too much feeling, I'm getting a lot from this Pholus placement in Capricorn, especially when we have goals towards things. Capricorn is a lot about goals and how we're going to work to achieve them, and all these steps and practical ways. I feel like we are in our hearts, like we know what we want to do, but then like how much are we giving towards the practical side? Too much or too little? Again, I don't want to repeat myself too much, but we have Venus that has come out of retrograde, but it is still in Leo, conjunct Juno and Lilith. So there's still a lot of impact, I think, from this area of the chart, even though it isn't the full moon itself. It is interacting a bit with, Aries placements and Libra placements, but I don't see a major interaction to the full moon itself. I think this is going to be more of an underlying issue that isn't gonna, I don't think it's gonna be anything new, but I think it might build behind the scenes. So if your full moon placement is at all connected with anything within the home or the heart space or what you're committed to, I mean, we're already kind of dealing with these feelings of effort and trauma and healing, and if any of that for you personally relates to what's of value for you, or relationships, or having to empower yourself or commit to something, is it a commitment that is really genuine to you or not? I think that there's just so much playing out in that Leo, and it's such an expressive place on the chart. I would also look to that part of your chart to see how that plays out. Generally speaking, the Aries placements and the Leo placements will vibe well together. But, I would always look to the personal chart. Now, if you remember from last time, I had a new moon candle, and it's right here. We'll use it again for the next new moon. I think that it'd be fun to keep bringing these back. I really enjoyed using it last time. This one is the full moon release candle. Now, I think that if you want to put any releases into here, that would be great. If there's anything you want to lift up to help it manifest to a fuller extent for the full moon, I think that would also be appropriate for this candle. There is a really lovely lavender sage scent that I wish you guys could smell. It's so beautiful. So I am going to slowly light this and allow you to put any intentions, motivations for this full moon, anything you'd like to release go ahead and energetically kind of move it towards into this candle, and we will collectively lift it up together for this full moon. And take a moment. All right. This will be here. We will now begin our readings. All right, pile 1. Welcome to your reading. We're starting off with the Sea Serpent reversed. We're going to pull these affirmation cards last. We have Communication reversed. Ooh, the flame really. We have the Hanged Man, and we have the Three of Wands reversed. Along with Speak It Into Existence reversed. Oh, wow. This is already so clear. Continue manifesting this. Also here. So I'm already seeing some blocks that have come up for you. There's something with feeling like maybe unintegrous, or you're out of alignment. You're feeling a block with being able to express something you want to move forward with. It really seems like these are actionable plans that you're excited to do, like maybe in theory, but something with the way it's being communicated is just not progressing. It's not really making much of an impact moving forward. There has been enough of you looking over to see the other side of things. I think that you've already done this enough, and it's kind of put you in a place now where you are getting stuck in your head, kind of thinking like, oh, well, maybe this is the way that they're seeing it, or this is the why it's not working out, or this or that. It kind of feels like a loop. When I'm looking at this card right now, like it's feeling very it's feeling like it was maybe done out of consideration, or just done to try to figure out why this isn't happening. But at this point, you've thought about all of that enough. At this point, it's all about how much you can speak it into existence, how much you can talk to whoever you need to talk to. I'm getting like too many different like situations if I dig too deep into this feeling right now. Some of them, a good percentage of them feel like work related, but another good percentage feel like the work related ones feel like maybe it's something you want to do at work, but it's just not coming through. Maybe you need to speak with your boss, you need to speak with a manager, you need to speak with someone you can collaborate with, okay, so for someone, I think this might be 2 or 3 people, but I'm also getting this feeling like it's just not something that's going to happen at this place of employment. It might be something that has to happen at another company now or later. So like maybe this is something you can kind of keep in the back of your mind as like oh, I have this great idea that I wasn't able to pursue before, but now I can, and it's actually better to do it now than it was then. Because sometimes I think it's about divine timing and just having it all kind of play out the way that it needs to. It might be better later. But I don't think that's for all of you. I think you're all being encouraged to continue manifesting this. For some of you, it's just going to come sooner rather than later, and vice versa. There's a lot of really grand creation type energy behind this. I just want to accentuate that for this reading. I think that there is a lot of power in what you're wanting to do. I don't think that you should feel discouraged. I don't want you to feel discouraged. I don't want to say you shouldn't, but I don't want you to feel discouraged. I think that a lot of this is just going to be how you play it out next. And as we look at the full moon itself, this really makes a lot of sense with the Pallas conjunction on the sun. We're kind of on the south node, north node. So there's a lot of this like, oh, well, I'm kind of stuck in the past, but also like I feel like moving forward. There's a lot of back and forth on what we're motivated to do and if we're even able to do that. Are we feeling stuck? There is a Mars in conjunction to Uranus for this full moon. That might be something that is accentuated when it's laid over top of your natal chart as a transit. It can feel like, oh, or this is weird thing, maybe unexpected thing that's just throwing off all of my plans for what I want to do. Like that can be very frustrating for Mars when it feels like it can't move forward, and it is on the south node right now, so there is that. If you are able to find a way to be more direct and maybe even over communicate for a little bit until you kind of get rebalanced and resettled in a new way to communicate, I think that could be really helpful just if you're interested in advice. I do want to read that sea serpent card for you. I really like the descriptions for these specialty cards in this deck. Almost there. Okay, the sea serpent is about healing emotional wounds and expressing desires. Of course it is. Of course it is. Look at the rest of this reading. Of course it is. The sea serpent represents the energy of expression, whether it's emotions, creativity, sensuality, or desire. The sea serpent helps us move and direct our energy into a healthy current. This would be great for all of you. I feel like there is just a block in the current. And for some of you, it's going to get pushed out for this full moon, or you're going to be really acknowledging it this full moon, and it'll be something you work on for a while longer. When the essence of this card is in balance, we express ourselves creatively and sexually without fear or shame. We know what we desire most. Our hearts are at ease, and our relationships are meaningful and enduring. We loosen the grip of self-judgment. We let the cool waters of forgiveness in to heal our wounds. When the energy of the sea serpent is not yet activated, our emotions and creativity are left in muddy waters. The current of expression stagnates in some areas of our lives, and in other places it floods. It's important to remember, no matter what the waters of our emotional lives look like, the sea serpent loves us just the same. Like a mother, she wraps herself around us in a gesture of protection. She supports us as we learn to express our true natures. It says the sea serpent is connected to the second chakra. The subtle energy of the sea serpent occupies the area of the second chakra. Located deep within the pelvic bowl, this chakra is known as our center of creativity and desire and is associated with the water element. It translates to in her own abode, indicating that this chakra is the home of the Divine Mother, or Kundalini herself. And as it connects with the sacral chakra, I feel like you might want to look towards the Scorpio placements of the chart. When we look at the connections of Scorpio to the chakras, it relates most with that sacral chakra, as it connects most with that section of the body. For this full moon, Ceres will be in Scorpio. It will be at 5 degrees 45 seconds Scorpio. So if that speaks to anything on your chart, definitely focus there. It will be, that Ceres placement will be in conjunct to the full moon itself. So again, it kind of creates this like blocked or bound feeling to the full moon, and it can connect even more so with that kind of Venus-y, how do I feel safe? How do I feel safe to express my feelings? Especially in a relationship or with something I really feel is important, something I want to lift up. If you are married, it can speak to emotional safety in a relationship, in a marriage, and how safe do you both, how much of a safe space do you give each other to speak on vulnerable subjects. So with that, we will do your affirmation cards. It says, there is nothing sexier than my authentic truth. And the more you guys build a vulnerable space, a safe, vulnerable space with each other, the sexier things will be. It says, thank you, universe, for helping me see beyond the limits of fear. Thank you for expanding my perceptions so that I can see what is of the highest good. All right, pile number 1. Thank you so much. If you're interested in full readings, they are available on my website. I have full hour-long readings and mini readings, which you can also get on subscription now. So if you want weekly or monthly readings, you can go look there. If you're interested in my limited time Libra season shadow self readings, those will also be available on my site tonight. So you can go check that out. And I will see you next time. Happy full moon. Welcome, pile 2. My shungite crystal wanted to come out today for you guys. Just for you. Just for you. Okay, so let's get into your reading. First, we have the buffalo. Next, we have the trailblazer reversed. We have the sun and the ace of swords reversed. I want to let you guys see as much as possible. Here we go. But they want to be where they want to be. You know how it is. Okay, then we have trust it will manifest reversed. And trust you already know. That one is so sassy. Like, bitch, trust you already know. You already know. Okay? Okay. So first, that buffalo card is really calling out to me. So we're going to start there. The buffalo is grounded yet heavenly, practical yet spiritual. In the book, it says, the hooves of the mighty buffalo are grounded in the earth. I feel like, is this also, oh no, we have earth and fire going on here, and air. Okay, all right. It is grounded in the earth, yet its heart and mind rise towards heaven. The buffalo sees challenge, hardship, or a bump in the road as an opportunity for upliftment. Therefore, the buffalo does not fear death, illness, or misfortune. Its gentle eyes look to the road ahead, trusting every turn. May we all experience this elusive yet life-changing bliss from time to time, and may we allow this card to remind us that life is a precious gift. When this energy is in balance, it's trusting and pure presence, but when it's out of balance, it's restless and it lacks gratitude. To bring it into balance, use prayer and bhakti. There is a really nice energy coming from that buffalo card, and I think that that is very connected with the sun card in this reading particularly, where I think that your energy is really light and really, and not entirely, I don't want to say your life is super all rainbow sunshine right now, but I feel like there is a part of you that is like excited to be alive and like really grateful for everything around you, and in a really good place. I feel like this is a really sunny, cheerful, but yet also peaceful and calm. I'm really interested in this feeling because it's the buffalo side of it is giving me like a very kind of tranquil vibe, but then it's so energetic from the sun side. So I'm really interested in that dynamic that's going on within you right now. And I think that there's some of this where it's almost kind of like the moon and the sun of your chart, where your inner self is very at peace, you're in touch with your intuition and all of that, you're feeling very connected, but the sun side of you is also like so excited and like thrilled to be here, so energetic. So energetic. But I see more of the dynamic as we get into the mind and our personal fire, our passion, our action. So I feel like there's not a lot of like internal complications. I feel like this is more mental and about how you're gonna make something happen, how you're gonna do something, which does kind of make sense for the chart. Where we have the sun in Libra and an air sign, and we have the moon, the full moon in Aries in a fire sign. So the block is coming here. I'm not sure which came first, if it's like a mental block kind of creating an issue with your motivation and your this could also translate into like sexual energy if that works for your life right now, but not for necessarily everybody. They're kind of entangled, so I don't want to isolate one or the other, but just know that they all kind of come together. When you're talking about Mars, you're talking about passion and energy, action, motivation, they're all kind of entangled into the same part of the self. So as you work on this block, or as you release this block, maybe, however you move forward from this, it will affect all of those things. It will also improve your mental health as you work through this. It seems like there's something, maybe a new thought or a new plan, a new, maybe even way of communicating, but I'm not getting that as much. I'm getting more like a new plan you wanted to put into action that's like not working. It's not happening. There's something blocking it, or you could be resisting it. But I feel like if we were resisting, there'd be more stress over with your feelings and with your vibrancy right now. So I think this is more like it could even just be that there's a bunch of little tedious issues popping up. Like it could be like, well, I need to get this, like but the paperwork has to be notarized, and it has to go here, and then it has to be printed, then it has to be emailed, and like all of this little like annoying annoying type things. I feel like there's just a lot of stress, kind of resistance, either from you or from just the world around you. This could be seen as a test, where a lot of times when we get trust it will manifest, reverse, there's kind of like, well, do you trust that it'll manifest? Well, do you how much do you want this? How much do you want to make this work? For others of you, it could be more of a reading on the side of it. Man, I really don't know how to word this. I keep trying to give myself a second to think. I think that for some of you, I guess gonna have to say this a little too more blunt than I like to. It could be that the way that you're doing it, or the specific plan that you had, is not going to be the way that it works out best for you. And the universe is trying to stress you to the point where you pivot a little bit. And I don't think that you have to give them entirely. I think this might just be the exact image you had in mind at first is not going to be highest, greatest, best product at the end. So they want you to adjust it. I think that's the best way I can say it. Also, I just, you know, there might be some adjustments that need to be made. The Ace of Swords is great and everything, but when you look towards the rest of the swords, I mean, there's a lot of different stages of progress that go through the rest of that until you get to the King of Swords. So there will be different steps to this process, and it's okay to move forward. If you feel like there is more of that feeling coming up, like a oh no, like I don't want to change my original plan, but it could be that you're more on that side of this reading, whereas if you just feel like you need to push harder, it could be on that side. And for a general reading, I wish I could give you more detail, but for a general reading, I feel like this is probably the crux of where, as far as I can go with this, with this specific part of this reading. I think that if you would like a personal reading, we can dig more into like your specifics for the situation. Those are available on my website, but for the general reading, there's too many people on both sides of this, and in between. So these are the subjects that are coming up for you for this full moon, and it really does reflect very well with the full moon chart, and how we're going to make something happen. Is it going to require us to push forward more? Is it going to make us kind of step back and release it to the universe more? Do we need to maybe pivot a bit? Maybe instead of walking straight ahead, we need to walk at like a 95-degree angle. I don't know, like a little bit of a degree difference, like turn to the side a little bit before you walk the rest of the way. There's another aspect to this where you are so connected with your intuition right now, you're feeling good in general. You might already know the answer. And I think a lot of you do know the answer. But if you need help pulling that out, I'm more than happy to do a personal reading. There's so many times where I've kind of known the answer, and I think a lot of people feel like this, but you're so used to kind of pushing that away, where you don't or you don't want to know, or you think you don't want to know. Maybe you're afraid of what you already know, where you kind of don't see it anymore. You're kind of just so used to pushing it away. So I'm happy to help pull that out and into the open if you're interested in that. There will be, I've just heard there will be some clarity that happens on the full moon. I think that it might not be like a physical action that gets taken on the full moon because of that such a close conjunction with Mars and South Node. But there may be some kind of emotional, intuitive clarification, and you're going to feel it in your being is another thing. With the Sun card coming out and the way the Sun is in the chart, I think that the mind-body connection is very strong right now. So if you notice a thought come into your mind and notice a physical reaction right away, like that will give you a lot of answers in itself. I want to remind you guys of that too. So your affirmation cards say, I surrender to a power greater than me. But it did come out reversed, so I feel like there's another aspect of this one for you, suggesting that you need to accept your own power. Remind yourself that you are powerful. Then you have, when I'm connected to my joyful presence, I attract support from the universe. When I'm connected to my joyful presence, I attract support from the universe. All right, thank you guys so much. Happy full moon. Again, I've already mentioned a bunch of times because of the way this reading went, but if you're interested in a personal reading, they're available on my site. I have full hour-long readings. I also have mini readings. Those are open for subscription if you'd like to get them weekly or monthly. And then limited time offer, limited time for Libra season. If you would like to get a shadow side reading, I look at the astrological shadow of your chart and we pull some cards at the end to fully show you what's ready to come up in your shadow and be integrated into the full self. This is a reading I only do around this time of year. I enjoy it, but I get burnt out on it pretty quickly. So if you would like to get a shadow reading, you better jump on that now. Again, thank you so much. I will see you soon. Bye. Pile 3. One of my chrysocolas wanted to come out here for y'all today. I have a bunch of these of different sizes, and it's really not even a crystal I would expect myself to gravitate towards so often, but apparently I go into the shop and I want it a bunch of times. I've wanted it a bunch of times. So, let's get into your reading. You have the oyster. Ooh. A lot of energy off the oyster right off the bat. You have the earth element, body, belongings, midheaven. There's also a connection here with the North Node, and maybe feeling a little stuck in the South Node. We have the world reverse. Well, the world being against you. Do you need to work with an institution? Do we need to connect with someone who can give us guidance in a very traditional manner? It says your magic is potent reversed. The opportunity is approaching, and it's in the bag. It's in the bag, guys. Okay, first I want to read this oyster card. Let's get this book out here. The oyster is patient. It's a secret keeper. It's hiding inner treasures. The focus and determination of the oyster is unmatched. Anything an oyster personality puts their mind to, they achieve with grace and charm. The only problem is, oyster types often take their inner gifts for granted. They become shy or doubtful, and this can lead to withdrawing or protecting our deepest desires in our life's work. When the oyster card appears, it's important to reveal your inner treasures. What is it you've been hesitant to share? Ooh, I love this. The world is waiting to see. Yeah, I'm already waiting to see. I'm like pumped to see. I'm like, show me now. Okay. When in balance, this energy feels blessed, generous, and masterful. When it's out of balance, it's reluctant, gripping, and it clams up. To bring it into balance, share something. And you don't have to start with sharing everything. Start with sharing everything if you want, but start with a small thing to kind of test the waters. I think that would be very helpful if you're not used to sharing things, especially personal things, things that have become very personal because you haven't been sharing anything at all. And the world reverse has a kind of a double meaning now in this. As we separate ourselves from the world, we almost tend to vilify the world or feel like maybe our magic isn't so powerful, like we're less than the world, or we don't belong, or we're othering, right? And when we get into this othering space, we're either putting ourselves down or we're putting the world down. And I think there's a huge block that comes from getting into that place, feeling like you're not one with the people in the place around you. You're one with the world. You are of the world. You are living in the world every day along with everybody else. You're not you don't need to feel separate. I think that if you feel more connected to the world around you, sharing will feel more natural because it feels it'll feel more second nature if it's an extension of yourself. You know what I'm saying? And realizing your magic is potent, realizing you have power to influence the world around you, realizing that if you follow the manifestation side of things, I don't want to I don't want to make it only about that, but there's a big part of this where, you know, you control your dream, you control your waking dream, you control what you manifest in the world around you. Even if you don't believe in manifestation, you control how you live your life, and you control the environments you put yourself in. You control a lot of things that kind of play into your experience of the world. So if you can find a way to improve that, it will also make it easier for you to open up and share with the world. And it seems like once you do that, because the next line down here, we have the opportunity is approaching and it's in the bag. You don't even have to worry. I really wanted to put this card here, but I wanted you to be able to see it. So in order here, we have remember your magic is potent, fix this block, and then the opportunity is approaching and it's in the bag. It's in the bag. It's already happening. You got this. It's gonna work out. This is very encouraging, and I really love how the way these two kind of play against each other in this reading, and the imagery of them both, where you almost see you in the oyster, like exposed between the two cards. Furthermore, finding maybe, I always want to say institution when the Hierophant comes up, but maybe finding a place, even just spiritually, or what's the word, where your values are reflected with a group of people around you. Finding a place where you feel more safe to open up and kind of put yourself in an environment that is inherently more supportive of something that you want to do can be very beneficial, even if it feels like, oh, that's silly, they need to join a group to be blah blah blah, or feel good about themselves, or to there's a lot of benefit that people get, we're all people, from being in communities. And I think that going to a place where you can interact with a community and be part of a structure can be very supportive for you starting to open up and kind of experience the world in a new way. There will be a lot of, with the North Node kind of coming in, and with Jupiter and Uranus currently in an Earth sign. Let's see what else is an Earth sign. Pluto, Pholus, and Mercury, all in Earth elements right now. Between all of those, I could see a lot of growth, a lot of, they form a grand triangle together. So you're looking at sudden, surprising, spontaneous growth, luck, communication, new mindsets, new plans. And a lot of this is, I'm saying new because Pluto kind of brings in like a transition. It can cut away everything that's not serving you and lift up everything that will serve you. Pholus brings this kind of extra element to it where it's really emphasized. But overall, I feel like you getting out into the world and getting a new experience will be very beneficial for you, especially in anything that you want to do, like anything you're wanting to move forward with right now. It feels like there might not be one specific thing. There might be for a few of you, but it feels more of like an idea, like a theme, like a part of your life that you want to kind of indulge in more, or be more involved in, or experience more. But there's something in you a part of you that you've kind of been hiding away that is ready to come out. And finding a stable place, again, where we're looking at Earth, where you can embody what you're wanting to do. The midheaven also is connected with going out in the world, and what are we going to do? What are we going to do out in the world? Our public lives. With the Hierophant, maybe you start to follow some more traditional things. Maybe you feel it's a little bit on the side of like conformity or dealing with morality or ethics, but as if you're seeking counsel from this kind of established place or priest, you know. It's what's tried and true can be valuable, even if you're not perfectly aligned with it. I think that there's often enough overlap where you see everybody is kind of partaking in this single way of doing something, but they all have their own little spin on it. So you don't need to feel like you have to align perfectly with something out in the world to be part of it. The Hierophant card represents seeking the sacred. This is a sacred thing that you're wanting to look at. And I think that you have either made it a very sacred thing because of how hidden away that you've kept this part of yourself, or it is just a sacred topic on its own and it's not something that you would really want to share publicly right away. Like, you need to kind of come to terms with it a little bit more. But I'm trying to think of what else would be helpful to say about this that isn't the same thing. The keys down here at the Hierophant's feet, they represent a need to unlock this sacred place within, and reaching out to a sacred part of you helps release burdens that end up feeling even worse later for you, that they build up. It's almost like the hiding is the most stressful part. It's become more stressful than the idea of sharing this part of you with the world. There's such a transcendent energy that comes from you feeling like you can move away from, oh, I have to keep this hidden, to letting it out there, letting it be free to live and breathe with the rest of you. I feel like it never feels good to have to hide a part of yourself. And when that's gone, it's so liberating. It's so liberating. And I feel like after it is liberated, you realize you can liberate it. This kind of block on the Your Magic is Potent card will reverse, and then this will start to amplify. Because the more you can continue that after it's released, the more powerful you will be. The more, and when I say that, I don't want everyone to, but I think that you will move forward in great strides exponentially after you are able to unblock this part of yourself and really let it out. So your affirmation cards: the universe works fast when I'm having fun. Yeah, make it fun for yourself. It doesn't have to be so dreary. The capacity to tune into the energy of love gives me the words I need when I'm ready to speak up, the compassion I need when it's time to forgive, and the power I need when I'm lost. I think this one is really going to have a lot for you if you repeat this one. My capacity to tune into the energy of love gives me the words I need when I'm ready to speak up, the compassion I need when it's time to forgive, and the power I need when I'm lost. And this really speaks to all the placements in the earth signs right now. So I hope this was helpful. Thank you so much. If you're interested in full readings, they are available on my website. I have full hour-long readings and mini readings, which you can also get on subscription now. So if you want weekly or monthly readings, you can go look there. If you're interested in my limited time Libra season shadow self readings, those will also be available on my site tonight. So you can go check that out. And I will see you next time. Happy full moon.